Hi, this is Jack Westman for ESEAnews.com here in Jönköping, Sweden for DreamHack Windsor 2013. Joining me again is Spencer Hiko Martin from Team compLexity, who've just guaranteed their place in the top 4. You must be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, the feeling is great. I mean, I think a lot of people considered us underdogs coming into it, and it feels great being able to be so close to the finals even. Fnatic's definitely not a pushover team either. We got to play the semifinals and go through them, but the feeling's amazing. Beating Astana, beating very games of this tournament so far, it's really an amazing feeling right now.
Okay. Well, you knew you had Astana from about 6 p.m. or so, right? So you had a couple of hours before you started the match to talk about what you were going to do. What did you talk about ahead of Astana? What were your kind of key points that you took into the match?
Astana has a really unconventional playstyle. It's really hard to try to run strats against them because they always have usually somebody on one side of the map pushing, disrupting your strat, getting a kill and falling back, and it's kind of hard for us to play against. However, that playstyle is a lot how Americans play. A lot of people just make random plays, just push. So, I mean, if you're talking about how we prepared, we watched a couple of their games before. I think they only played Nuke, so we only really saw them on how they played Nuke, and we ended up losing to them on Nuke. So, and then on top of that, we actually saw them watching our demos on Inferno, and I saw them. They had one of our demos on Dust 2, I think, too.
Oh, right.
So we didn't have anything like that. We just kind of came in with the same mindset we always do, and we were just able to win.
Okay. You say, actually, in our earlier interview when you were talking about Very Games, you said that they made a couple of random pushes against you, and because you're used to the American playstyle, you were able to adapt to that. And again, Astana were doing that as well. Do you feel you've been lucky in the teams that you drew, in that they played like Americans against you? They played in a way that you were used to?
Yeah, for a little bit. I mean, these teams are on a whole nother level than American teams. I say they randomly push, but obviously they have
structure.
Yeah, they have something in mind when they're pushing. They have something in mind. Like, okay, well, they just took out long on Dust 2. Let's push B tunnels.
Right.
So it's not like stupid pushes. It's always a smart push. It just comes at random timings, and that's what kind of sometimes throws off a team that has set smokes and flashes. You kill the one guy that has to throw the smoke, and then well, there goes the whole strat.
Right.
So I mean, I think for Astana and Very Games definitely kind of played more American-y than a team like NIP would usually do. So yeah, I think we are kind of lucky.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your group results in that case. So you started off on Nuke, lost 9-16. I spoke to a couple of you guys in between the games. You felt like you could have won that. What went wrong in the Nuke game, in your opinion?
We had a lot of rounds were really close. The pistol round in CT, I think if we won that pistol, it probably would have been a whole nother result at the end. Yeah. There's some bad communication between us on that round, and a lot of rounds they were really close, and people were like missing random kills, and people were, again, bad communication in rounds that just kind of threw our rotations off. But yeah, Nuke was, I think if we won the pistol round in CT, it would have been a lot different.
Right. And from there, of course, you moved on to Dust 2, where you played particularly well, I might add.
Thank you.
So yeah, subtle shout out. 16-7 was the score. It felt like you kind of struggled in the early rounds to get a hold on the game, but then you took charge. At what point did you kind of start unlocking it? How did you go about it, and what was the reason why you were playing so well against them on that map, I guess?
I think we went down like 6-2 or something on the first half, and at that point we were kind of like, all right, we know how they're playing. They're playing pretty much the same way every round. We kind of countered them. We played to their weaknesses, obviously, and we were able to adapt to them. And I have to actually credit the boot camp for that. I think that's really what we honed in on at the boot camp, is adapting to teams, winning the 3v3s, the 2v3s, whatever, and not losing big leads when we're up. So on Dust 2, you said I played well.
If I say it, it's fine.
Yeah, for sure. I had a couple nice rounds at long. I was just kind of spraying them down. It was a lot of fun though, and Dust 2 was pretty. It was a good map for us.
Okay, so then that obviously leveled the series out at one map apiece. You had Inferno coming up after that, which you won 16-12 in the end. It looked a little bit shaky at the end. You got to like 14-8, and then they started winning rounds against you. Did you ever feel as though you weren't going to close it out?
I don't think so. on our CT side, we like to buy a lot of Molotovs. So if they start stringing the other rounds, we have to end up saving. So I think that probably played into it. We had to save a lot. I think we saved like 2 of the last 5 rounds or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we had the lead. We were up, what you said, 14-8, and then they started to rally rounds. We had to save a bunch of times, and yeah, eventually we were able to win it. I think Swag had a really nice 2v1. I almost won the 2v1 that I was in, and Semphis and Nothing were just hitting crazy shots that whole match. So big shout out to them.
Yeah. Well, we have to talk about Swag's 2 versus 1 clutch, because that kind of put an end, or it felt like it put an end to their run, and you closed out the game from there. Was that the motivational kick you needed, or do you think you'd have won anyway? Swag just accelerated it.
That round, I think we were up in numbers at one point, and I know Sean died, and he hit both of the last guys low.
Yeah.
So Brax knew that both guys were pretty much one shot. And the guy at Spindle, I don't really know why he peaked, but he peaked and died, and then Swag just won the 2v1. But that definitely gave us the momentum to propel us to the win. I don't think we were really afraid of losing, but I think that was kind of the kick in the ass, like, all right, here we go, guys. We got this now.
Close it out.
Yeah.
Okay, at the beginning of the interview, you mentioned that you kind of felt a little, or people were saying you were the kind of the underdogs in this game, and you felt it to some extent as well. People were allegedly throwing games to play against you. Everybody wanted to play compLexity because you were perceived as the easier team. How does that, did you kind of get behind that? Did you ever believe it? And what kind of effect does that have on you?
I assume you're talking about Astana, because I did hear that Astana purposely threw their game against Copenhagen Wolves.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly, whatever. So I guess if they want to throw to play us instead of, they would have played Very Games, then whatever.
Yeah.
The feeling is, I kind of feel the same way though. I kind of feel like a lot of people underestimate us. A lot of people think that we're going to be just kind of a pushover team. ESWC was kind of not a very good showing of how we are, and especially our online performance definitely isn't a very good. It doesn't really tell how we actually play when we're at a tournament.
Yeah.
So I do think that a lot of teams underestimate us and think that we're just going to, oh, we have to play Very Games or we have to play compLexity. Oh, compLexity is the easy choice.
Yeah.
And hopefully at the end of this tournament, they'll look back and be like, okay, well, maybe that was stupid. They ended up losing, and maybe if we come out in the grand finals, then we can be like, haha, yeah, shouldn't have thrown.
Well, fingers crossed. Just a couple more questions before I let you go. So you were saying you felt like you were hitting your shots. You were buying Molotovs on CT side of Inferno. You got Semphis got like 2 or 3 Molotov kills. Everything seemed to be going right for you. Why are you in this zone today? Why is everything working for you guys? Everything's falling into place.
As I said, the bootcamp really helped us. We haven't really tried to incorporate a lot of Molotovs in our strats until recently, until like right before, probably right after ESWC, before DreamHack. And Molotovs really do help us as a team to kind of take over spots, take over sites. And as you said, we were hitting our shots today. Our communication was on point today. Yeah. We all came here to play our game. I mean, the bootcamp, we've been playing for 13 hours a day for the past week. So that's more than I think any of us have played of Counter-Strike probably in years. So it definitely helped us to kind of mentally prepare, helped us to, as a team, to prepare coming into this. And yeah, the bootcamp was really powerful for us.
Right. Okay, well, next up, of course, you have Fnatic. Are you happy with that draw? How are you going to go and prepare for Fnatic tonight?
I am happy with the draw. I think on the other side of the bracket is Very Games and Ninjas and Pajamas. Yep. So, I mean, obviously those people probably consider those the top 2 teams in the world. Right. So one of those teams are going to get knocked out no matter what, as of tomorrow. So I definitely am happy with the side of the bracket we got compared to that. Fnatic's definitely a good team too. They're definitely not a pushover team. I think they're probably the easier of the 3 teams between Very Games and NIP though. So we're happy with what we had. We're happy with how the whole tournament went. I mean, we placed first out of groups. Yeah. We were able to beat Astana. Now we go into semifinals against Fnatic. So it's pretty much what we wanted to do.
Okay. All according to plan so far.
Exactly.
Until you make the finals.
Right.
Okay. So last but not least, do you have a message to the American fans back home and any shout-outs, same as usual?
Yeah, as always, thank you guys for watching. To all the Americans, hopefully you guys can see that some Americans Americans can definitely make a dent in the community here. It's not just all, oh, you're not from Europe, that means you guys are going to suck. Americans definitely have what it takes to be at the top. And again, shout out to all the compLexity sponsors, our friends, our families, my mom. Love you, Mom. And yeah, thanks for supporting us. Keep supporting us, and hopefully we can go to the finals tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, best of luck. Thank you again, Spencer. Always a pleasure. And to all of those at ESEA.net and ESEAnews.com, stay tuned to the website for full coverage tomorrow for the semi-finals and finals, which compLexity will be playing in. Yeah, absolutely. From about 4 p.m. Swedish time. Thank you very much.